Looks like Jeff Jarrett has cooked up quite the interesting list of competitors for his new roster in Global Force Wrestling. Welcome back, everyone. This is Jason, aka J-Bone of the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast, right here to bring you my thoughts on the reveal from last week and also a new video that hit YouTube on Facebook and their YouTube channel today, Twitter, all over social media, revealing even more names to this mysterious yet very intriguing roster that Jeff Jarrett has been um, letting us wonder about over the course of the last year almost. And now things are really finally starting to really starting to show. Um, Dates are being set for these um, for the shows that are happening. Some in Vegas, some at ballparks across America, and the um, the announcement came last week in Vegas, and I'm going to go over some of the first names that were revealed. A very interesting one, who's going to be a GFW analyst, Chael Sonnen. Um, and I really didn't know a lot about this guy. He's a former UFC fighter and quite the charismatic guy. Really talks a lot of smack. I mean, I watched a couple, we'll just say, very colorful videos on YouTube of this guy talking smack about, upcoming competitors that he was supposed to fight. Very entertaining to listen to his opinions and such. So to hear him give his thoughts week after week, I don't know if he's going to be calling the matches or just like a backstage guy doing interviews and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see exactly what this, GFW analyst job all entails. Uh, and as far as the meat and potatoes of the roster, the first names were Lance Hoyt and Davey Boy Smith Jr., otherwise known in Japan as, was it the Killer Elite? I gotta look. Um, Killer Elite Squad. Sorry. Um, yeah, great tag team. Um, Doing some catching up on some of these guys that I'm not real familiar with, but I know they're making names for themselves all over the world, here in America and over in Japan. Bullet Club, one of the hottest factions in wrestling today. Uh, Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. So two great tag teams right there kicking off this roster. Uh, Formerly of the WWE, Chris Masters, who is now known as Chris Adonis. So that's kind of a classic, a new twist on a classic name, aka Adrian Adonis, is what the first thing I thought of. So yeah, should be interesting to see him in this brand. For another former WWE guy, PJ Black, aka Justin Gabriel, will be great to see him part of this brand. Sonata, formerly of TNA, and he literally was announced that he was done with TNA, I believe, within the last week or two. So that was quite the sudden switch. And then, last but not least, to this first group of names, as far as the male names go, is Moose, new guy brought in from Ring of Honor. I watched this guy on one of their last shows. Quite the powerhouse, very similar to Big Rick, aka Ezekiel Jackson of Lucha Underground. Uh, so really, really making his name known out there. Kind of green, but making progress. So good to see. As far as women on the roster, just a few revealed. Lady Tapa, she was in Ohio Valley Wrestling, formerly also in TNA. I didn't hear all the reasons why she was with TNA for such a short time. I'd have to go do some digging on that. But nonetheless, I liked what I saw of her in TNA, the little I did. And but yeah, go check all these people out. Oh, on the also in the women, Thea Trinidad. She's done some local stuff around here in David Hero's brand of Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. She was also in TNA for a while. She was also on TV here and there doing a stint over the course of the last few months with Adam Rose as one of the Rosebuds. So there were some rumblings going on that she might become part of the roster that way, but apparently that wasn't to happen. So that was the initial announcement from last week. A great start, in my opinion. Some decent tag teams. You got some powerhouses. You got some great ring workers there. And so a nice new beginning. Now, today, they released just a quick video showing even more names to this list and also showing some of the parks that tickets are going to be going on sale soon for these new live events from Global Force Wrestling. Now, in addition to the names that I just mentioned, some new names are, let me get the list here. The Young Bucks, another great world-known tag team, really probably one of the most popular up-and-coming tag teams. A lot of controversial stuff in the news about them lately because apparently the WWE really wanted to sign them, and they turned down the WWE, very surprisingly. So great to see Jeff pick up this tag team for this brand. Another former, I guess he still does some stuff for Ring of Honor, but former WWE guy Cliff Compton, great name to see on this brand. Sanjay Dutt, well known in TNA and around the Indies lately. Tyrus, TNA guy, kind of very interesting to see his name on this list. So not sure what kind of contract he has with TNA that he's showing up on Jeff Jarrett's brand. Very interesting. So another powerhouse there, Jigsaw. A name that's been floating around the independent scene over the course of the last, I'd say, between 5 to 10 years, making a name for himself. He's a good high flyer. Now, some other names here that I'm not real familiar with, but I have heard their names out there. The new Heavenly Bodies with Desirable Dustin and Gigolo Justin. I'm not not familiar with those guys at all. I'm not sure which main brand they hail from. The Hot Shots, Cassidy James and Chase Stevens. Now, Chase Stevens was in TNA about 10 years ago with another guy. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. A great tag team, though, back when he was in there. And I know he's been floating around Ohio and the South, I believe, as far as I know. I've seen his name pop up here and there on occasion. Luke Hawx. Not real familiar with him. I've heard his name. Same with Chuck Taylor. Haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but I know he's real popular in PWG brand, but also one of the more talented names coming up in the independents. And last but certainly not least, Jamin Olivencia. Um, Not sure if he's the current Ohio Valley Wrestling champion. I'd have to go look, but I know he's been champ a few times in that brand before, and he's showed up in all over the country, really making a name for himself. So, uh, in my opinion, this is a decent list. I know there's a lot of Jeff Jarrett slash TNA haters out there. And I know this list has a lot of ex WWE slash ex TNA guys on this list. But I think all in all, the mix is good. And I can't wait to see how he puts together these shows. I'm really looking forward to this. It's great to see another up and coming brand take off. And in my opinion, this will be a great alternative, just like Lucha Underground is. That's taking a lot of international talents from AAA and some other talents from around the country and bringing them to the public eye all over the states. Really taking off. So finally, after a year of Global Force Wrestling teasing us with little things, hinting at us with certain things, we finally get to see who is going to be representing the brand, their faces going along with this company. And it's good to see, something I've been eagerly awaiting for a while, several months. Now, I have a feeling this is going to be just the tip of the iceberg. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing more names added to this brand. If if a good chunk of the Bullet Club is on this roster, I would have to assume that AJ Styles is also a part of this. They say, oh, you shouldn't assume, but I'd have to think, even though he's made several Ring of Honor appearances, I don't know what his contract is. And I know he's also part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's their champ. And I know Jeff Jarrett has a contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling for some of their talents. So I'd have to think somewhere down the line, AJ Styles is going to become part of this, which will be great to see. I could see him really representing this brand and helping it take off. So, and something I'm going to give you a little tease on, but I'm not going to give any details away until they become final somewhere over the course of the next month or so, from spring going into summer. The Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast is going to have someone from the roster of Global Force Wrestling on their podcast. We're going to shoot for June or July, depending on this person's schedule. And when details come to fruition, I will let you know. And so very, very, very excited about this. And can't wait till this all comes to see the light of day. So let me know. Put in your comments below. Let me know what you think of this roster. Some of these names are very well known, some not. So let me know who you like, who you don't like, who you've heard of, who you haven't. Give me some feedback. Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.